Well, you know, the thing is, I felt like he was putting aside. I said, no, I didn't make money on you today. That's okay. You worked for me very long. You're going to have to look at the other side of it. When I am making money on you, and you're going to be happy with this pay, you remember the days when you weren't worth what was being paid, and now you are. Say that's
exactly.
And a good employer understands that he makes money on the employee in time.
Over time.
That's right.
Yeah, it's
not just immediately. You know.
Yeah, you can't look at every little window.
That's right.
Assess that. You know, it's interesting. I think that shows the why we wanted to spend some time and talk today about leadership. You and I have been friends for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Our paths crossed, and we've developed a rapport and talked numerous times throughout the year on lots of different subjects. You spent a lot of years as a high school teacher in the local school district.
Yeah.
So maybe if you can give us just kind of a quick background of your professional experiences, and then we kind of can launch into the topics that we talked about.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. You're on.
It's going now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before I became a teacher, I was operating a farm that my dad owned. He was handicapped. My brother and I operated that. And I also worked in construction, but the truth of the matter is, when I became a teacher, you're really dealing with people. And if I had any skill as a teacher, it was in the area of helping a kid who's struggling to improve his ability to function and to understand that schools only cover about 5 areas of measuring of intelligence, and most psychologists will tell you straight up that there's at least 20 areas. That's one of the reasons why schools are sometimes ineffective in predicting success, because a person who doesn't succeed at school may find his niche in one of those other areas and work well on that.
How did you learn about these other key indicators of success that aren't always the ones that we're measuring in our current environment?
I think in my case, I had some pretty serious rebellion against authority when I was a kid, and I struggled in school not because of a lack of ability, but because I didn't care. And so I ultimately became about my junior in high school, I began to really focus and do better, and my grades improved, and really it was kind of a hostile response then. I was going to prove that I could go to college, even though my previous grades had not indicated that, and I became satisfied that I was.
So where did you go to college?
I went to college. My undergraduate work was at Spring Arbor University, and my master's degree is from Michigan State University.
So here's an interesting fact then, is you got your undergraduate work at Spring Arbor.
Right.
And how many years later, as a rebellious student, a student who recognized there was a value in non-traditional learning.
Yeah.
And how many years later did you find yourself on the board of trustees for Spring Arbor in a leadership role?
Well, I think it was about 15 years after I was out of college, I was elected as alumni president. I served 2 terms, 2 different times as alumni president, and there were some creative things we come up with to try to relate to the alumni. And of course, being president alumni, I was a non-voting member of the board of trustees, and then later on, I was on it for 14 years, and when I was about 50, I was nominated to be on the board of trustees. I'd interacted there. My students had gone there. I had a lot of nephews and nieces that went there. Sold on the institution, sold on the idea that this wasn't a cookie cutter kind of education, but they are very, very good, as many colleges are, the smaller ones, at actually delivering an education on a more of a personal level than you get sometimes from the large institutional cookie cutter stamp out type of experience.
So explain.
And I needed that.
Yeah.
I needed that because of my, I suppose, a lack of self-confidence. And I needed that also because it helped nurture me, and I began to believe that I can solve most problems I face if I just address them and look at them from different ways. And whereas in a major university, I might have not done as well. I don't know that, but I might have matured. Maturity happens all in a different way, different people.
Sure. So in all of those various experiences, you've seen a lot of leadership examples.
Yes.
Leaders that have been highly effective and perhaps leaders that have been not as effective.
Yeah.
The one thing, can you describe a few of the major characteristics that good, effective leaders seem to exhibit that you recognize from your perspective at looking for leaders that are maybe non-traditional or non-cookie cutter but very effective?
Probably one of the best student teachers I had was a young man from Michigan State University who played baseball in college. He was a motocross professional. He had mediocre grades, but you set him in front of a class, he could relate to students as individuals far better than sometimes. Let's put it this way: being stupid and ignorant doesn't help anybody. But being smart is not a guarantee. As a matter of fact, my bias is sometimes that the really, really best students aren't always the best teachers. It's a harder job for them to focus on a specific need of a specific kid. I would never reveal details about any specific kid because it would be a violation, I believe, of his best interest. I've had kids who struggled. I've seen kids who committed suicide because of pressure from grades. And I like to take the attitude, hey, life is good. And I taught history and psychology. But being a good history student doesn't make you successful in life. Understanding how you're malfunctioning emotionally doesn't make you necessarily better. It gives you a clue on what to address.